Hey y'all, I am Nick Collins with Tree Consulting, and we are going to be going over the astrology forecast for the month of May 2023. Before we get started with that, I would really appreciate it if y'all could hit subscribe and like, because I am trying to grow my follower subscription number. Because once I do that, then I can start doing live things with chats and teaching and all of that jazz. So if you could do that, you'd be doing me a huge favor, and I would really appreciate it. Now, let's head on into the month of May. So there are a lot of transits that are happening this month in Taurus. So it's a very Venusian, earthy feel to the month of May. We are in Taurus season. Gemini season doesn't start until the end of the month. And we have Mercury that is currently stationed retrograde and doesn't go direct until like the 14th on Mother's Day here in the United States of America. So there's a lot of things that are happening, and the first transit actually happens on May 1st. Now, before we get started, I am going to be honest with you and let you know that even though I did the work and I went through all the transits and I did evaluations for all of it, my memory is crap. So I completely forget what I wrote down and what is happening. And if I don't actually read from what I have on my computer screen, I just forget. So yeah, I would like to be able to give you all accurate information. And don't mind my chapped lips because I have no clue what's going on there. Anyway, now the first transit happens on May 1st, and it's at 7:27 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. So what this is it is the Sun in Taurus and Mercury retrograde make an exact joining. Okay. So it might feel like you're rehashing the details about the one that got away. Okay. Make sure that on this day, you are getting together with your friends so they can pull you out of the funk and snap you out of it, because listen, there's a reason why it didn't work. Okay. You might be stuck on the wonderful things that you experienced during that relationship, and you might be mourning that loss, which is totally valid and okay, but you have to remember all the things that that person did wrong to you. And if you have good friends who were around when that relationship took a dump on your life, make sure you rely on them, because they will help you to remember all of the terrible things that that person did and why it didn't work out. Okay. The next, before I forget, these people also might just kind of come back around and contact you out of the blue. And that might be what brings you into a funk in the first place. Just don't do it. Okay. Friday, May 5th at 12:03 a.m., we have Venus and Gemini having a harmonious relationship with Jupiter in Aries. Now, this is kind of a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type of deal. And it's a possibility that it could be about the United States government realizing that they don't have enough workers, and that the reason why they don't have enough workers is because parents or caregivers don't have anywhere to put their kids, or they can't afford childcare. So it might be that they're actually implementing the things that need to happen in order to have more workers. Okay, it might be free daycare, or it might be reduced cost childcare, or before and after school programs, something along those lines. If you don't have kids, okay, that's totally fine. On an individual level, it could be you working your butt off from home. Okay. And then receiving benefits like a bonus or a raise just in time for you to be able to have a vacation. And if you do have kids, maybe it's just in time to be able to sign them up for summer camp. I don't know, something along those lines. Now, I say that a lot, don't I? I should probably not. Sorry. At 1:34 p.m. that same day, there is the Scorpio lunar eclipse. Now, I have said this before, and I will say it again. Do not go messing around with this with an eclipse. Okay. If you are the kind of person that knows what you're doing because you have been doing it your whole entire life, it is part of your culture, this does not apply to you, so just let it fly. However, if you are a new baby and you have not yet learned how to work with eclipses, leave that shit alone, because you have no clue what is going to happen over the next 6 months and how it's going to unfold. Do you. I'm just saying I wouldn't. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, especially with this one, because the moon is in Scorpio, and that is where she's in fall. She's just not having a good time in Scorpio. She does not do well in Scorpio. This is going to be extremely emotional. So I don't know if I would want that vibe with anything that I'm doing anyway. There's a possibility of being misunderstood and not being heard at work, or feeling as though you would much rather be at home than out in the world. There's a feeling of having to fight and do the same thing over and over and over again in order for you to be able to get what you want. There's also the possibility that your coworkers don't know that you're in a tough spot right now, and so they can't really help you. But you want to be mindful, because anything that you do on this day could give a frenemy at work, like a hidden enemy who you think is on your side, but they're really just trying to take your position. It could give them a leg up. So have faith that things are going to work out the way that they're supposed to, and basically just kind of fake it till you make it this day. Like, you just put on your happy face, whether you feel happy or don't feel happy. The vultures are going to come circling if they think that there's any sign of weakness. Okay. And it's okay to feel how you're feeling. Like, feel your feels, babe. Just don't, when you feel that way, don't lash out at others, because it's going to bite you in the ass. That day is not the day to do it. Now, on Sunday the 7th at 10:25 Eastern Daylight Savings Time, Venus leaves Gemini and enters the moon sign of Cancer. So for me, this is self-care Sunday. Now, I say self-care, it might actually be more along the lines of self-maintenance. The things that you need to do in order to feel good in your body and with your mind and heart. It might be taking a nice long soak, planning to have a mani-pedi with friends so you can enjoy time together, and also get your hands and feet all settled so they look nice for the warmer weather that's coming. Double and triple check any reservations that you make. It's okay to make a spa appointment a little bit further from home so it feels more luxurious and more like care than maintenance. Be careful though, and maybe avoid any waxing, because there's a potential to be burned by liquid substances. So that just seems really painful. Anyway, on Friday, May 12th at 4:41 a.m., Mercury retrograde in Taurus has a harmonious energy with Saturn. So this is what happened on April 5th, coming back, but this time it feels better. It's safer and more stable, and there's a calmness of wanting to kind of be alone and do things by yourself. So whether that's just kind of sitting around and reading a book or watching Netflix by yourself, it's enjoying hobbies that don't require another person, because later that day at 10:43 p.m. Venus in Cancer is also going to form a harmonious energy with Mercury retrograde, and this is a stay your ass home kind of energy. Like, just, you don't want to people, and it's okay to not want to people on this Friday night. Just stay home. There's also a possibility that even if you make plans, something's going to happen and you're going to end up staying home anyway. Now, you might have stayed home, but early in the morning at like 2:56 a.m., don't be surprised that when you stayed home, you also like got a booty call, or like your significant other and you start to get frisky. I just, don't judge me, okay? But this is kind of like one of those all night long lasting sexcapades where you just, every single sexual fantasy that you have is just being met. Okay, like, this is just, I'm just saying, I'm just saying. Okay. Moving on. Sunday, May 14th at 11:17 Eastern Standard Time. Remember, this is Mother's Day in the United States of America. If you have made plans, reservations, double, triple, quadruple check those, because Mercury is moving slow as hell. Any service that you get on Mother's Day is gonna be slow. You're gonna have to wait. They might mess things up. I'm just letting you know, because Saturn is kind of coming to us. I mean, not Saturn, Mercury is coming to a screeching halt before they're able to turn direct, okay, or station direct. If you have siblings, there is a potential for there to be like this falling out kind of feeling, or thing that happens, because maybe they have their own families, maybe they're grown and they want to be able to do their own thing on Mother's Day, and you're worried that that's going to make your mother feel some type of way. Just be prepared for that, because anytime you start a new tradition, feelings tend to get hurt, because there's nostalgia in the way that you always did things. And why are we changing things? Sometimes change is needed. Okay. And as someone who is a mother, I would rather spend my time with my kids in my way and not have to take them anywhere, or like, I just don't need that kind of hassle and all of the energy that goes with it. I just want to sit on my butt and do absolutely nothing. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. If your siblings say, I don't want to, don't get hurt. They're entitled to be able to do what they want to do. All right. Now, the next transit is on May 16th at 1:20 p.m. And this is Jupiter leaving Aries and entering the sign of Taurus. And so this is the god of parties and jovialness, happiness. I just imagine this Santa Claus like figure who is wearing Bermuda shorts just drinking, has these like rosy cheeks, and is just partying it up and having a good old time. Whenever I think of Jupiter, he's just a hot mess. But he's entering the Venusian earthy grounded sign of Taurus. Okay. And so it's having this feeling of satisfaction because you have worked your ass off and now you are getting the benefits of working your ass off. Okay. Now, if this is your first house, maybe you've been working your ass off by going to the gym and now you're starting to see the benefits of it. If it's your second house, maybe you've been working your butt off being an entrepreneur and now you're finally starting to get some money from it. It's every house is going to have its own benefits that you're getting from it. But yeah, you might be getting recognition from your colleagues and friends because they're finally acknowledging that you can handle your shit. Okay. There's also a possibility that we'll see huge court cases in the United States coming to light. The needs of the people might not be being met in these court cases, but they might be coming to the forefront. And it could also mean that because Jupiter is entering the sign of Taurus, which is considered the sign where produce and growth and all the material goods that we need, that's what Taurus kind of represents. Because we've been having shortages, like we've had the formula shortage here in the United States, there's a rice shortage apparently. Jupiter entering the sign of Taurus could mean that there are plans being put into place, or these things that were in shortage are no longer in shortage. So that is one of the main benefits of having Jupiter in Taurus now. Now, on Friday, May 19th at 2:39 a.m., Mercury in Taurus has a harmonious energy with Saturn in Pisces. This is the third time. So the first time was April 5th. The second time was May 12th. So what it means this third time around is that there's a need for new things so that you can find more joy in life. Okay, so you're finding new hobbies, you're finding new ways to create fun. And that fun could be for yourself, and it could be for yourself and others. Okay. Just know that if you are being rigid and unmoving and just don't want to hear other people's opinions of what might work, that's going to be to your disadvantage. I'm talking specifically to you, Pisces rising folks. Okay. Now actually later that same day at 11:53 a.m., there is the Taurus new moon. And this is the vibe of being the underdog at work and that is willing to try new things in order to see a new light. So how much work and communication are you willing to put in order to improve your public image and what your new title is going to be? Okay, so it's kind of that saying where if you knew you could not fail, what would you do? Something like that. Is that how that goes? I'm not entirely sure. But what is going to get in your way is all those little voices you have in your head that tell you that you're not worthy or you can't do it, or would just tell them to shut up. They don't know what the hell they're talking about anyway. Okay. Now on Saturday, May 20th, Mars leaves Cancer, the moon sign, and enters the sun sign of Leo. And this happens at 11:32 Eastern daylight savings time. So this is a time to bask in the praise from your coworkers because of all that work that you've been doing. It's kind of like you're feeling yourself, and you should be. It's okay. Now, be mindful though, because Mars in Leo, that's cuts, burns, soldering to the physical body. So just make extra steps to be careful, especially if you're cooking with like a gas stove or something like that. Now on the 21st, the sun leaves Taurus and enters Gemini. So now we've got Gemini season. Happy birthday to those of you who have the sun in Gemini. This can be a new start of a community project that has the full support of the people. However, there's a possibility that the people who are in power or government behind the scenes are trying to dismantle it. So the people have the finances to be able to do the thing they want to do, but there's a possibility of other people trying to destroy it behind the scenes. So be mindful of that. There's also a possibility that there's an increase during Gemini season of people standing up in favor of gun safety laws so that we can reduce the number of school shootings that happen in the United States of America. On Monday, May 22nd, there is a sextile, a harmonious energy between the sun in Gemini and Mars in Leo. It's not a sextile. It's harmonious. Like I said, in memory, awful. But this is a vibe of an uncertainty at home and work and how to make the two work together. Here's what I want you to think about. I want you to think about what resources you have, which things are actually important and need to be done by you, and which things can be delegated to somebody else that you trust. Because delegating is very important. Let other people trust them, that they know what they're doing, and let them do it. And there is a fine line between being assertive and having confidence in what you can do, and being insensitive and obnoxious to other people in their time. So be mindful of that. Okay. Friction between Mars and Leo and Jupiter and Taurus goes exact at 1:12 on May 23rd. This is in the form of a square. And so when you were trying to find that way of working, maybe working from home and delegating things, and it worked out in your favor and you got praise for it, this friction, it could mean that you have to explain why you did things the way that you did to either a work partner or to a significant other, and you kind of have to smooth that out. You getting praise from work and getting a big head about it, your partner is not going to care. Okay. There is such a thing as being a sore winner. So don't get a big head, basically. And the last transit of the month is the sun in Gemini and Saturn in Pisces also have a square. And so this vibe is just having a lot of headaches. So maybe when you were working from home and you were able to work things out and get more work done at home than you could in the office, maybe you have that manager or that higher up who is pissed off because they wanted you to fail, because they wanted you in the office so that they could micromanage you and watch all of the things that you were doing, and then just kind of like boop, 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 because people are like that. So don't be surprised if you start feeling this energy on Friday and then it peaks on Sunday and starts to wane by Monday. Okay. So there's a possibility that over the weekend, they send you an email that's like, you need to do blah, blah. If you don't work on Sundays, if that's not your normal working time, then they've just crossed a boundary. So what I would suggest is this weekend on Friday, immediately set up an away message in your work email that says, thank you for contacting me. I'm currently unavailable and I will get back to you at the next available working hour. Just nip that in the bud. Okay, in the most professional way, because in your head, you're like, I'm not responding to this shit. Go away. But yeah, keep it professional so you don't lose your job, unless you want to lose your job. That's completely up to you. But that is the end of all of the transits for May. I want you to think about what are the ways that you can use this energy to your advantage. I am going to be posting videos soon that have the rising signs for the month of May and what they mean. I'm also going to be posting videos about the lunar eclipse and the new moon that are happening in the month of May. I'm also going to be posting a video of how to look up your birth chart, how to see where your planets are, a whole bunch of learning stuff. So if you could leave a comment below of the things that you're interested in learning about, how I can help you, what I can do better, what kinds of content you want to see about astrology, that would help me out a lot. I want to learn to know how to meet your needs better. But if you could do me a huge favor and hit subscribe and hit like, maybe share this video, that would just do so much for me. And I would really, really appreciate that. Remember, you are worthy of all of the good things that are coming your way, and keep it simple, sweetheart. Astrology is just a language that lets you know what the vibe is going to be and how you can use it to your advantage, so that instead of just surviving, you are thriving, because that is what you deserve. Until next time, bye.